Hey, it's Chelsea and happy International Pie Day. And so of course, what are we going to do? We're going to make a pie. And I'm actually making one of my husband's very favorites. It's a buttermilk pie. And let's get started. You are going to need a stick of butter. And this is very softened. And I'm going to tell you, true confession, the only time I've ever messed this pie up is I melted the butter and it was too hot, and I actually scrambled the eggs when I added it to the butter. So don't do that. Just let it soften at room temperature. So you got a stick of butter and you got, yes, 3 full cups of sugar. So this is not the most healthy pie. It certainly tastes great. And if you're going to make it like I am tonight, you know, just eat healthy for a few days beforehand, and you'll be all right. So we're going to cream these things together. So let me just turn this on, and we'll just let that cream. And it really doesn't take too long. It starts coming together. The other things you're going to need, of course, are buttermilk. I've got 6 eggs. These are farm fresh from my friend Stan, and they're already beaten. 6 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. A couple of teaspoons of salt. I've got a lemon that I'm going to zest, and it just gives it a little bit of a tangy flavor. And for sweetness, we've got vanilla, and of course all that sugar. So let me turn this up just a little. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on low, and I'm going to add a little bit of the eggs, not all of them, about half. Let that mix in. And just like when you're baking a cake or brownies or whatever, you kind of alternate between the eggs and flour. So we're going to add a little flour. Let me turn this down. Oops. So do about half of the flour. Turn it up a little bit. And don't worry, I'm going to show you what it looks like before I pour it into pie crust. This actually makes 2 deep dish pies. So make sure that you've got enough pie crust available. Okay, let me go ahead and do the rest of the eggs in there. Put that aside. Coming together really nicely. I didn't scramble the eggs this time. And bless my husband, he ate those pies anyway. Still tasted good, just didn't look so pretty. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add the salt too. Whole tablespoon of vanilla. I'm going to start adding some buttermilk. You can do up to 2 cups. I just kind of want to see the consistency. And this is going to be very soupy looking. So don't let that alarm you. And people often wonder, well, so what's the difference between this and a chess pie or a custard pie? Well, chess pies actually have cornmeal in them as the thickening agent, and no lemon. And a custard pie usually has some nutmeg. So this one's really, key ingredient is buttermilk. And of course all that lovely sugar. Which those of you that know me, I don't eat a lot of sugar. So this is kind of the exception to the rule. Once in a while, in celebration of Pie Day, you know, I had to do it. And I actually think I'm going to try this with monk fruit. I've done that. I've done that with French toast. I've done that with other recipes, and you can't tell the difference. So I'm going to do that soon. This is just a little bit of lemon. I'm going to add maybe a teaspoon. And I buy lemons by the big bags, and I'll just juice them and store this in my fridge to use when I'm cooking. I'm just going to zest a little bit of lemon to go in here. Not too much, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon. Just adds a little bit of dimension. And we'll put in that final cup of buttermilk. And because this is so thin, so loose, you're going to have to cook this for a long time. So heat up your oven to 350. This is going to bake for an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and a half, just depending on your oven. So I'm going to turn it up for just a second. We're almost done. All right. Let me grab the pie pan. And I do cheat. I like to put mine on a cookie sheet just because it's so much easier to manage, especially if there's two of them. And sorry to go off camera, but I wanted to get something to stir this around a little bit. And you don't have to mix this in a mixer. You can certainly whisk this by hand and you'll be fine. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So if you want to do kind of a close-up of this, that's the consistency you're looking for. All right, I'm going to pour it in the pans or in the pie crust. And I picked these up at the grocery store, deep dish. And if you have a little bit left over and it looks like I'm going to, you can just put it in a ramekin and it'll be crustless. And that's what I'm going to do. You'd rather do that than overfilling because this will puff up a little bit. But that's what we'll do with the leftovers. So those are your buttermilk pies. Add a little bit more. And you can just kind of shake it around a little bit, let it settle. But they'll spread out once you put them in the oven. So I'll put them in the oven for at least an hour and 20 minutes at 350, and then I'm going to show you just how beautiful they are when we take them out. All right, these are fresh out of the oven. Well, they've cooled off a little bit, of course, because I'm holding them. But here are our two buttermilk pies. And actually, I'm going to let them finish cooling off, and then I'm going to put them in the fridge for about an hour. And then Alan and I are going to sit down and have a slice. So happy Pie Day to all of y'all. And if you're enjoying this, definitely subscribe to the channel because we'll be doing some more cooking. Thanks.